period of time. Professor Skerritt, potentially you might be able to update me on how many doctors are currently willing to prescribe or have applied for the licence or with the regulation to prescribe nicotine in light of the recommendation of the October 1st change in legislation.
In Australia, 100,000 doctors are able to, because I think that's the rough
No, we had, Professor Skerritt, we've really got 2 minutes.
Exactly.
But we had 10 a couple of months ago.
Senator, I'm telling you how many doctors can prescribe.
No, how many are registered? Because you've got a system...
No, they don't have to register, Senator.
Well, we did when we did the...
They do not have to register to be able to provide prescribed nicotine for personal importation. So 100,000 doctors in Australia can prescribe nicotine for personal importation, Senator.
Okay, and do they need to report? When we went through a previous hearing, doctors were required to report how many people had been prescribed nicotine.
Not correct if it's under... But there's 3 options. There's special access scheme, authorised prescriber and personal importation. Under personal importation, any Australian registered medical practitioner, and I'll check with Professor Murphy, it's about 100,000...
yeah,
90 to 100?
Yeah, a bit under. Yeah.
Any of those can prescribe nicotine for personal importation for an individual. That's one of the 3 pathways.
This is different from when we held a previous inquiry and previous estimate questions that doctors had to be registered to be able to prescribe nicotine.
That's not correct, Senator.
Well, that was... we can go back through this, but that was actually when we had 10 doctors allowed to prescribe.
No, this was authorised prescribers, which was one of the 3 pathways. And as I indicated at the time, if I was a doctor, I wouldn't bother at this stage because the system only comes into place on the 1st of October. So
do you think there's been some miscommunication that potentially a number of people have felt that there's only 10 doctors, and that's been widely publicised and not in any way contradicted by the Health Department or the TGA, that there is only 10 doctors in Australia that were authorised to prescribe nicotine?
Again, when we have media make that assertion to us, we do correct them, Senator.
There's been some really extensive reports in the Australian Financial Review and others particularly around this, and I would have thought the TGA, who had active participation in those, might have corrected that information.
When the reporter asks us, and quite often, as you know, and I'm sure this won't come to you as a surprise as a senator, journalists write articles and papers without checking their facts with you. And the AFR,
I would have thought
wouldn't
that
be the first
reporting
paper
false
ever.
information would have been slightly... So it's good news for the 520,000 vapers in Australia that there's 100,000 doctors that can now prescribe for them.
So any Australian registered medical practitioner can write a script for nicotine for personal importation. However, the simplest and most streamlined approach, as you have mentioned, after the 1st of October, will be authorised prescriber. We have had numerous meetings, and my colleague, Ms Francis, I think it was only last week, and again we'll be meeting very soon again. We meet all the time with the RACGP and the AMA and so on.
The AMA is a union; they're not a college of doctors.
And nearer to the time, because it's silly having a media campaign in March about something happening in October.
Aren't people in trouble if they don't have a prescription by October? And if we've got 520,000 people that need one?
Sorry, in October they'll need a prescription for smoking cessation.
Wouldn't it be a good idea to start getting them now?
Sorry, Senator, if I could finish my answer. They will. There is a major campaign of education, information, communication with GPs, pharmacists and other healthcare professionals that clicks in over the next few months. It was deliberate, but we felt, especially during COVID, if you do it 8 months ahead of time, people will have forgotten by then. So it's planned out with
doctors
timing.
Or vapers have forgotten?
Everyone would have forgotten 8 months ahead during the pandemic.
If you can possibly take on notice to give the committee insights as to what that campaign's going to look like, who it's going to be targeted, what it's going to involve, and when it's actually going to be launched.
We'd be delighted to. We have a project plan, as bureaucrats always do.
And will part of that project plan include alerting vapers to the fact that they don't need an authorised prescriber, that they can go to any GP?
We can make sure that is there. Now, that is a situation that we are describing with 3 different pathways, and those 3 pathways have already been in information on our website. If you go to our website, you'll see that. And we also have conducted a number of webinars when we've had invitations to vapers, invitations to doctors and doctor groups explaining the different pathways. Have we had it on the front page of the Sydney Morning Herald or in primetime TV? No. Our budget doesn't extend to that. But the program will step up with a significant budget to support it.
Yeah, it probably would have been helpful during the tobacco harm reduction inquiry to have pointed that out as well.
Senator, you might recall at the time of the tobacco harm reduction inquiry, no decision had been made by the delegate. So it would have been premature to say, here's how you promote something where no decision had been made.
But we could promote authorised prescribers. It's just all a little bit confusing. So it would be helpful for the vapers to know that they can go to any doctor going forward. I think that's pretty important information for them.
You can get a prescription from any doctor for personal importation for smoking cessation.
I'm sure they'll be very pleased to hear that. Thank
I
you so
appreciate
much,
your
Chair.
support.
Senator McCann.